Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown Live and WWE main event spoilers. Happy birthday goes to Tony Garea. Arn Anderson turned 58 today. Daniel Tosh is still coming for you, Arn. Greg the Hammer Valentine, a.k.a. Jonathan Wisniski, he turned 65 years old. And Arn Anderson's real name, Marty Lunde. No dark match advertised for SmackDown from the Arena website, and no results from anywhere or on the internet, or any dark match news or what happened after SmackDown. Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels is featured in this trailer or for a WWE Studios film, The Resurrection of Gavin. And the movie is due out on January 20th, 2017. As I spoke on the Raw video, Cruiserweight Classic competitor Cedric Alexander made his official NXT live event debut at the show in Cocoa, Florida. On Friday evening, Alexander defeated Andre Cien Almas in the main event of the show with his finisher. After the show, Almas flipped off Alexander instead of accepting his offer to shake his hand. Also, WWE Cruiserweight Classic competitor and new WWE Cruiserweight division member Johnny Gargano got married to Candice LeRae during a ceremony held this weekend. He posted this WWE posted the following congratulatory message directed at the two on their official Twitter page, twitter.com/WWE. There's a very funny lip sync video. This link here at the wedding of Johnny Gargano says that I got married on Twitter. Well, he didn't get married on Twitter. We had our lip sync battle, but first, hashtag Glorious Bomb and the video link. And he also posted another one at Johnny Gargano. Thanks for all texts, tweets, and messages, guys. It was a day at Candice LeRae, and I will never forget. Life is cool. TNA President Billy Corgan has openly stated that he wants to purchase the company, but one person in his way is Dixie Carter. TNA shareholders currently consist of Carter, Corgan, and Arlux Production. The latter two shareholders got their stakes by providing emergency funds for tapings and pay-per-view. Without their funding, the shows, the TNA would have folded. There would not have been any show whatsoever. Because it takes like $750,000 to do, around the ballpark figure, to do one set of taping or a pay-per-view. According to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dixie Carter wants at least $4 million for her share of the company. So, you want to buy out the company? There's $4 million for you. Arlux tried putting together a deal to buy out the company this summer, but they weren't able to raise the funds. Corgan indicated in a recent Facebook live chat that he plans to take full control of the company and use his celebrity status to build better relationship with the advertisers. One of the issues TNA currently faces is a lack of advertising revenue. Also, if you didn't know, WWE is definitely in the verge of purchasing the company, very similar to they did with WCW. Well, on Monday, TNA officially announced the signing of former NXT ring announcer Eden Styles. Brandy Rhodes, former WWE personality, is the latest addition to the TNA Knockouts division and is not an in-ring announcer. And you can go to that link for that. Also, in addition to the announcement of her signing, TNA released above the video talking to Josh Matthews about joining the company. Rhodes mentions her desire to get in the ring and perform, citing her athletic background and willingness to prove skeptics wrong. There is still no official word regarding when or where Rhodes will make her TNA debut. Probably at the next set of tapings. New York Post reported over the weekend that WWE recently made an offer to purchase TNA Wrestling on the latest episode of Wrestling Observer Radio. Dave Meltzer confirmed the story while providing some new information. According to Meltzer, WWE made at least one offer to buy TNA. However, their offer was unofficial and didn't take place anytime recently. Essentially, WWE's main interest is acquiring the tape library of the promotion. It's worth noting that new TNA president Billy Corgan recently invested more money to acquire 30% ownership than WWE offered to buy the entire company. The leading candidate to buy out the entire company right now appears to be Corgan. He hopes to acquire the company before their big Bound for Glory pay-per-view, which goes down on October 2nd. Guess who was backstage at AC/DC concert at Madison Square Garden? Courtesy of his account, Jericho, Bubba Ray, and Paul Heyman. Instagram.com/Chris Jericho Fozzy. As noted, Jonas Snyder, a 20-year-old student at Seth Rollins' The Black and Brave Wrestling Academy, passed away after going into cardiac arrest at the Moline, Illinois wrestling facility. Since the tragedy, Rollins was contacted by the Quad City Times for comments on the story. Instead of giving a direct quote, former WWE World Heavyweight Champion referred to the publication to the official following statement from his wrestling school, which comes from the official Twitter page of the facility. It is with great sadness that we acknowledge the passing of our student, Jonah Snyder. Jonah attended the first night of our 7 Black and Gray class a week ago. After briefly participating in a fitness drill with his classmates, he abruptly fell ill. Emergency personnel were called, and Jonah was rushed to the hospital. He passed away en route to the hospital. No cause of death has been determined as of this date. Jonah loved professional wrestling, and in closing, wanted to leave you with his words. And this is an excerpt from the essay Jonah penned for his application to our school. All of our thoughts are with Jonah's family and friends as they go through this incredible difficult time, and I myself as well send my condolences to his family. Here's what he said in his essay. I live, breathe, sleep, and eat wrestling. It's in my blood. I want to learn it so I can travel the world putting a smile on people's faces. I want to give them hope or something to believe in, unquote. Well, The Rock posted the following photo. Well, there's actually going to be this link from Instagram.com/The Rock of the Jumanji cast on set in Hawaii. You don't remember? The Rock is also in it. Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, Jack Black. Okay, Kevin Hart plays a part of Moose Finbar. Karen Gillan plays the part of Ruby Roundhouse. Her jungle wardrobe will make sense when you know the plot. Trust me. Professor Shelley Oberon plays the part played by Jack Black. Dr. Smolder Bravestone. Because, well, he smolders. I guess that's The Rock. Whatever character he plays. Hard working and fun. First day of shooting in the jungle with this talented and crazy motley crew. Jack is brilliant. Karen is badassery. Kevin is sharply hilarious. And I smell good. Extremely hard trying to keep a straight face in these scenes. Too funny. We're making a good one. More to come. Hashtag Jumanji. Hashtag wishful fulfillment. Hashtag the game that plays you. Stone Cold tweeted the following from earlier today. That he's getting set to wrap another season of Broken Skull Challenge. And I'll show you a picture of that. As he's got his little four-wheeler going. looks like a redneck golf cart. WWE Games has announced the first 9 DLC characters for this year's 2K17. Eddie Guerrero, Papa Shango, Ty Dillinger of NXT, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Terry the Modern Day Warrior Eric, Mojo Rawley, the Godfather, and Double A, Austin Aries. As noted, also Bubba Ray returned as his Bully Ray character, alter ego, at the House of Hardcore 18 event at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania this past Saturday night. For those who missed it, you can also check out video footage of the quick promo he cut by teasing a return to TNA by click. I didn't get the link, but I did get a picture. In addition to Dudley, former ECW stars Joey Styles, Raven, the Sandman, Beulah McGillicuddy also made appearances at the House of Hardcore 18 over the weekend. Also, superstar Ryback also appeared at the show. I'll show you pictures of that event. Okay, House of Hardcore Twitter page. Follow everything from there. And I'll show you the pictures from the Twitter page. All photos of Billy Ray and Joey Styles together backstage. Also, Ryback at the event. Comments from Joey Styles after the show was over. Emma took to Twitter to comment on when she is cleared to return to the ring. At Emma WWE, 6 weeks ago I was cleared. Each week I wait, the more frustrated I get. I feel sorry for the person who's going to see it. It's all about me. After winning the UFC 2 tournament on Xavier Woods' Up, Down, Down YouTube channel, Jey Uso defends his crown against WWE US Champion Rusev in this new video. Found at this link. Raw Cruiserweight will apparently be working WWE main event as well as Raw, which has been a SmackDown brand show since the WWE draft. Following matches were taped in Birmingham for this week's main event episode. Rich Swann versus Let's Dorado, who had a match on Raw. SmackDown Tag Team Champions Heath Slater and Rhino versus Tyler Breeze and Fandango. During Swann versus Dorado, the purple cruiserweight classic graphics were on display in the arena, and crew members had purple tags wrapped around the ring ropes. Dark match prior to SmackDown in Birmingham saw Kane defeat local wrestler Kevin Zion. First result for the main event spoilers, WWE taped the following. Rich Swann defeated Let's Dorado. SmackDown Tag Team Champions Heath Slater and Rhino defeated Tyler Breeze and Fandango in a non-title match. SmackDown, they announced that Dolph Ziggler was inducted to Kent State Hall of Fame, as he also announced it in a promo interview that he did. I believe it was backstage on SmackDown tonight. SmackDown opened up with a video hyping tonight's matches. Live from Birmingham, Alabama, as SmackDown General Manager Daniel Bryan in the ring. Fantastic. Yes, while Mauro Ronaldo welcomes us. He's joined in by David Otunga and JBL. Byron in the ring. Bryan is in the ring with a contract signing set up. He hyped SmackDown Women's title match at No Mercy and says tonight he will have the first ever SmackDown Women's title contract signing. Bryan says we're going to keep this signing civil as fans boo. He tells them not to boo that. Bryan says this is a new era on SmackDown, and that's how it's going to be. He introduces Becky Lynch first, and then out comes Women's Champion to a pop. Bryan reminds Becky that we're keeping things civil tonight, and she agrees. Bryan introduces number one contender Alexa Bliss next. They have words, and out comes Becky, who cuts a good promo on wanting the title more than Alexa. Becky says that she will rip Alexa's head off at No Mercy. Becky wasn't born to be a champion. She fought to be a champion. Bliss mocks her, saying that the speech was so inspirational. Bliss says Becky is destined for second place because Bliss was born to be a champion. Bliss says She's going to take the title at No Mercy and expose Becky for what she is, a one-hit wonder. Bliss smacks her in the mouth with a contract and then signs it. Becky goes down. Bliss turns the table on her. Bliss makes her exit. Talking trash about Becky. Talking trash about Becky comes from behind and attacks her. Bliss retreats. Becky goes back to the ring, inside the ring and signs the contract. Becky's music hits and she leaves with the title in the air. Still to come segment. Usos versus Jason Jordan and returning Chad Gable in a #1 contenders match. We see both teams walking backstage to a commercial. Back from the break, Intercontinental Champion The Miz and Maurice walk up on Bryan. Miz is upset about defending the title against Dolph Ziggler tonight. Bryan says they can cancel the match. Miz agrees and goes to walk off, but Bryan says they can cancel the match and his contract. Apparently, Miz was too busy tweeting to read his new contract that was negotiated this weekend. Bryan says that this is going to make it hard for Miz to go out and do what he says Bryan can't do anymore. Bryan asks if they have a problem, and Miz says they do not. He walks off. And the tag team match, #1 contender match, was up next. Usos versus American Alpha. We go to the ring. Out comes the Usos. Chad Gable and Jason Jordan were out next. Jason Jordan. We see a video from earlier with Gable and Jordan talking about Gable being back for revenge. They begin their new journey to the titles tonight. Bell rings and Gable starts things off unloading on Jimmy. Gable with more offense and a 2 count. Gable to suplex before working on the leg. Jordan tags in and keeps working on the leg. We see SmackDown Tag Team Champions Rhino and Heath Slater walking backstage on a monitor. Alpha with another tag and double team. Well, remember a couple of weeks ago, Rhino was eating when they were at the trailer. Well, he's eating the cheese whiz and crackers again. But Heath Slater is the one pouring the cheese on his crackers. Okay, Alpha with another tag and a double team. They knock Jey Uso off the apron and nail double drop kicks on both opponents. Jimmy does Gable to the apron. Jey interferes from the floor as they get Gable's injured leg tangled on the rope. Second rope. Jimmy super kicks the leg and sends Gable to the floor. Gable clutches the leg as we go to commercial. Back from the break, the Usos are in control. They keep working on Gable's leg and keeping him in the corner. Gable dumps him to the floor, crawls for a tag. Jordan comes in and unloads on both opponents. Jordan gets fired up for a pop. Jordan with more offense on both opponents and gets a close 2 count on Jimmy. More back and forth. Uso looks to get the win after a double team, but Gable breaks the pin. Gable gets sent back out to the floor. Jordan with an alpha plex on Uso. Jordan needs his super kick, and both are down now. Gable wants to tag, but Jordan makes the decision not to tag like he's turning on his partner because of his leg. Usos, even the announcers mentioned that. Good decision, but bad. Usos with another close 2 count. Jey takes out Gable's leg again. He goes down to the floor as fans boo. Usos with another double team. Jey nails a splash from the top for the win. And new #1 contenders. After the match, we get replays as the Usos celebrate and make their exit. While American Alpha try to recover, we go backstage to Slater and Rhino again. Slater wants the WWE Universe to really get behind them and has an idea for a chant. Rhino doesn't seem to be enthused. Usos will walk in and take shots. I've forgotten what they try to do the Uso chant. When I say Rye, you say no. Rye, he wouldn't say nothing. After like 3 times. Well, after that little goof off, the Usos walk from behind. They threaten to knock the food from Rhino's hand. Rhino gets up in his face. Uso suggests that they hand the titles over. Uso brings up Slater's kids, all 21 of them, which gets Rhino upset. He stands up to them as they leave. Still to come segment, Randy Orton versus Eric Rowan. Back to commercial. Apollo Crews versus Baron Corbin was up next. Back for the break, we got new SmackDown superstar Jack Swagger on commentary. Apollo Crews is out first for the next match, as he was very serious look on his face. We get replays from last week where Baron Corbin attacked him at ringside. Then he was confronted by Swagger as Corbin walked off from last week. Corbin was out next. Bell rang and they lock up. Crews gets the upper hand with an early 2 count. Corbin went to the floor for a breather, but Crews followed. Crews kept control and launched Corbin into the barrier. Crews went into Garea on the floor. That's the referee counts. Crews brings it back in the ring for a 2 count. Corbin turns it around and unloads on Crews with a forearm to the head outside of the ring. Corbin brings Crews back inside the ring and stomps his body into the ring post. Corbin stands tall as fans boo him. Corbin drives Crews into the ring post, again with a double boot. Corbin nails the end of days for a somewhat easy win. After the match, Corbin goes to ringside, stares Swagger down. Swagger stands up. Corbin talks trash, points at him before walking off. Corbin backs up the ramp as Crews rolls to the floor to recover. We see Dean Ambrose spot warming up backstage for the main event. Still to come, the Miz defense against Dolph Ziggler. Back to commercial. Back for the break, we get a Kurt Hawkins victory. And he's doing more promos. Charlie Caruso is backstage with Nikki Bella and Naomi. They cut promos on Carmella and Natalya ahead of tonight's tag team match. Renee Young with an interview herself with Dolph Ziggler. He ran down to Miz. Ziggler says he's desperate to prove himself that he still belongs here. Ziggler says the only way to prove himself how good he is to shut Miz up and take the title. Ziggler calls for his music to be hit. And he gave a little bit more inspirational as he's been losing lately. But he says that's about to change. Well, we'll wait and see. Intercontinental Champion match was up next. We go to the ring. Out comes Dolph. Intercontinental Champion Miz was out next with Maurice. Back to commercial. Back from the break, we get formal ring introduction from Greg Hamilton. Bell rings and they lock up and go at it. Ziggler gets the upper hand and they go to the floor, but Miz ends up turning it around. Miz brings it back in the ring and goes up to the top. Miz comes down with an axe handle. My feed buffers at this time and actually goes out. Comes back on about 2 or 3 or 4 minutes later. He plays to the crowd for more boos. Ziggler with elbows. Miz catches a kick. More back and forth before Miz drops Ziggler on his face. Miz mocks Daniel Bryan and hits a signature kick to Ziggler. Ziggler caught the roundhouse and unloaded on Miz with right hand. Miz sidesteps and sends Ziggler into the ring post. Miz with more offense. Ziggler finally makes a comeback, but gets sent into the ring post again. And yes, these ring posts have a like metal type thing on it. When you hit it, it's got like a little to it. Well, Maurice looks on as Miz stands tall. Miz mocks Bryan again with a corner drop kick. Miz with a corner clothesline. Miz goes to the top, but Ziggler drop kicks him in midair. Back and forth again. We get Ziggler blocking a skull crusher finale. Hits a big DDT for a close 2 count. They end up tumbling to the floor together as we go to commercial. Back for the commercial with more action. Miz with a close 2 count after a big boot. Ziggler with a roll up for a 2 count. Ziggler plants Miz with a famouser for another close 2 count. Miz runs into an uppercut as Maurice looks on plotting. What's she going to do? Get involved, of course. She walks on the apron and gets caught trying to spray Ziggler by the referee. Again, like she did last week. Maurice and Miz both argue with the referee. He sends Maurice to the back for a pop. Ziggler, so I didn't see that part myself, like I said. He went out, come back on. Ziggler took advantage and rolled Miz up for a 2 count. Miz rolled Ziggler for a 2. Ziggler with a zigzag for a close 2 count. Miz rolled to the floor for a breather. Miz calls for his title and tries to leave as fans boo. Ziggler stops him and sends him into steel steps. Ziggler brings him back in the ring, but Miz sprays him in the face while the referee isn't looking. And then nails the skull crushing finale for the win. Okay. And that's all I saw was the skull crushing finale. After the break, Miz makes his exit. It was going to replays. Miz clutches his title on the floor as Ziggler sits up in the ring. Still to come, Cena versus Ambrose. We see Randy Orton walking backstage for his match against Eric Rowan. Back to commercial. Randy Orton versus Eric Rowan. Back from the break. Out comes Randy Orton. And as Eric Rowan awaits, Orton goes for an early RKO, but is blocked. Rowan took control of the spinning power slam. Rowan dropped elbows on Orton. Orton tries to fight back, but Rowan takes him out, takes him to the corner. Orton fights out of another corner and with kicks and punches, but Rowan turns it back around. Rowan nails a drop kick that sends Orton out to the floor. My feed goes out again. I gave up on that link. I go to another link. Rowan beats Orton around ringside, brings him back in the ring, but wastes time. Orton kicks him coming in and hits the second rope draping DDT. Fans cheer as he's doing the move, and Orton hits the mat and gets ready. Rowan gets up, and Orton nails the RKO for the win. After the match, graphic flashes, lights go out. Come back on. Orton is standing in the ring with a spotlight on him. A sheep mask is laying at his feet. Graphic flashes again, and we go backstage somewhere to Bray Wyatt. This was all I seen. I didn't see the spotlight on Orton. Wyatt cut a promo on Orton and says he's just a man that could die at any minute, but Wyatt is a god, and God never dies. Wyatt tells Orton to run, and that ends that segment. Still to come, Natalya and Carmella versus Nikki and Naomi. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Nikki is wrapping her entrance up as Carmella and Natalya look on from the other side of the ring. Naomi was out next with her glow entrance. Nikki starts off with Natalya after Natalya hits a cheap shot on Naomi when the bell rings. Natalya came back with a forearm and applied the sharpshooter. Carmella pulled Nikki out of the hole to the floor and launched her into the ring barrier. Referee calls for disqualification. Natalya looks on and might not be happy. Naomi comes over and drops Natalya as Carmella continues beating on Nikki outside. Naomi goes to check on Nikki as Carmella retreats. Carmella talks trash and makes her exit as fans boo. AJ Styles backstage polishing his title. Charlie Russo walked up and asked him about tonight's main event. Styles says he's superior in every day. The face that runs the place, he says Cena and Ambrose will tear each other apart tonight while he sits back, relaxes, and soaks it all in. AJ says the champ is and always will be here. Main event, John Cena versus Dean Ambrose. We go to the ring, out comes John Cena to a pop, we go to commercial. Back from the break, out comes Dean Ambrose. The lockup start. Ambrose with a headlock as fans begin to dueling chants for Cena. Let's go, Cena. Cena sucks. Ambrose drops Cena first. Cena turns it around with a headlock. More back and forth. Ambrose sends Cena out to the floor as we go to commercial. Back from the break. Cena misses an attitude adjustment. They go at it, and Ambrose takes control. Ambrose hits the running bulldog. Cena counters the move and applies his STF. It's broken, and Ambrose sends Cena back to the floor through the ropes. Ambrose runs the ropes and nails a big dive to the floor. They come back in, and Ambrose nails a crossbody from the top. But Cena rolls through. Cena nails the attitude adjustment and covers for a close 2 count. More back and forth. Ambrose counters another attitude adjustment and nails dirty deeds, but Cena kicks out at 2. They get to their feet and trade shots in the middle of the ring. Ambrose blocks an attitude adjustment and rolls Cena up for the pin out of nowhere. Cena rolls out to the floor afterwards. After the bell, Ambrose marks out Cena as Cena retreats to the floor. Cena sits down on the floor as Ambrose music hits. AJ Styles runs down and attacks from behind, leaving Cena on the floor. Doesn't touch Cena this time. AJ runs in the ring and hits a Pele kick on Ambrose. AJ talks trash as fans get riled up. Daniel Bryan comes out and says that he was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. But last week, Shane McMahon promised Ambrose a one-on-one title rematch, and that match will happen next Tuesday night. AJ throws a fit and turns around to a dirty deed from Ambrose. We get replays from tonight as Ambrose celebrates as his music plays. Ambrose celebrates with his fans at ringside and makes his exit as SmackDown goes off the air. No dark match results. So that ends my SmackDown and WWE main event results, spoilers, for this week of September 20th, 2016. Thanks again. Peace out. See you on one more video. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.